for the time. We all have one thing in common, which we are. Oh, you should look at me. We are all born on this planet. Some of us were born here, and many of us were born in a place we call today Wonderland, because what's happening there is letting us see every wonder in the world, which is absolutely not beautiful, but it is really sad that we are witnessing this. So, what happened in this spot in the world? In 2011, there was a revolt from the people against the regime, and so the regime answered with gunfire and started to arrest people. And then the result, as you may all know from the news, is that we have until the 30th of April, there was 151 or 152,000 civilians who are registered who were dead. Of course, there are no people from the army or from the Free Army or ISIS are registered, which means the numbers are really, really high. What's happening is total destruction is going on in the country. Okay, we need to work on that. This whole destruction led to hopelessness. But on the other side, there are some groups who are still in Syria who have their lives going on as if there's nothing happening in the country. For some other people, they started to realize that weapons are actually not a good thing and weapons kill. So the revolution started with flowers, and then it slowly moved into militarization and became a regional conflict. Yeah. The message that everybody is trying to convey is love is a solution for everybody. It's contagious. Please spread it, because one person can start and then it spreads exponentially to millions. However, the reality says something else, is that weapons are still coming into the equation and letting this love go away. For some other people, this conflict has become a sacred task given from the heavens, so they have to fulfill it somehow. And this all led to the exodus of the Syrian people who fled outside of the country, left everything, and just went all over the world. So what happened now? They were faced with refugee policies. Faced, of course, it's relevant to us because we are in Europe now. They started going by sea because, does anyone know why? Well, because there's no legal way for them to come. This is the usual route that they usually take. So they go out from Damascus to Turkey, Istanbul, and then go to one of the coast cities, and then take their risks going to Italy or Germany or anywhere in Europe. Of course, Norway is here. It's not even Schengen. I don't know why. So, next, please. What Europe is trying to do, is trying to defend itself, as they describe it. Defend it from this stream of refugees, as if they weren't human beings. They are just masses and masses of people are coming, of beings are coming to us, and then we have to deal with that. Okay, so what happened is, I came to Germany about 4 years ago, and I started asking myself, I need to do something about this. And here came the chance. I met this group called Center for Political Beauty, and I was asking, hey, who are you? What do you do? So they started describing themselves as aggressive humanists who use humanity as a weapon to change everything they want or they think needs to be changed. But they are not politicians, not satyrs, and nor activists. They have a new way of resisting the system and changing things. Activists look like this, protesters, or maybe like this. But we have another thing. We asked in our team, we have this motto of putting some black color on our faces, because it reflects that it doesn't matter how you look like, what matters is what you do. And we asked these people who work with us, who are we, what do we do? So we had answers like we save souls, we change the world, and we create hyper-reality. All of them are right, because what we do is, or can be listed under any meaning you would like to do. The most important thing is that the impact that we create and would like to give it to the whole world to change. So I'm going to start talking about the actions we do in the Center for Political Beauty. This was the first action I did. It's called Kindertransporthilfe. That's the program for helping the kids or saving the kids. It's a copy actually of the same program that was done after the World War II to save the Jewish children from Germany and sending them with trains to Britain. So what we did is we said, okay, since it happened already in the history, and history repeats itself, so it is possible to happen one more time. We studied the constellation of the German government and found a weak position. But please, don't take it as a sexist thing. We found the Minister of the Family, #feminism. She was the one who was able to take our concept and apply it. So we said, without her knowing, the minister is going to adopt 55,000 Syrian kids by bringing them to Germany, saving them, and then we made the poster and put it in Aleppo, well, as it was in 2014. Now there's nothing left. And then we publicized everything. We published everything and said, okay, here world, we have news for you. We also did a parallel thing. We copied the official website of the family ministry, the German family ministry, and then changed the text inside of it and put some forms for people to fill in and send that they want to adopt a Syrian kid, of course, through the government. In the first day, over 300 families showed their interest, and they were calling and asking about it and filled the forms and sent it directly to the minister. And on the next day, we were just thanking her in front of her building, and she has no idea what's going on. But there was also a plan C to it. These two people are the survivors of the Holocaust, sorry. They are the survivors of the Holocaust. We invited them in front of the Kanzleramt, the Chancellor's office in Germany, to demand a meeting with Miss Merkel. So they can talk to her about this matter. Well, this is Philipp Ruch, the director of the Center for Political Beauty. He went with them, but they didn't let him inside. They let them only, both of them. And we have no idea what they talked inside. So, what happened is, as a result, 1 week later, Germany wanted at the time to take 20,000 refugees officially, and the number was raised to 30,000. So this was like the first impact or the first reflection that happened after the action. A year goes by, and we start a new action. The first action had to do with kids. Now it has to do with the dead. The action is called Die Toten kommen, the dead are coming. We started the action because we discovered mass graves in Greece and Italy for Syrians who drowned in the Mediterranean, and they were buried without any dignity in mass graves, unidentified. So what we said we're going to go there. We're going to look for these graves. We're going to try to identify people. And we came down to 10 families who were actually identified with missing members. And then we contacted them and told them we're going to exhume these graves and bring the bodies to bury them with dignity in Berlin. Out of 10 families, 2 families only accepted that. And we brought the bodies to Berlin, we buried them, and the point to prove was here that it is possible to do it officially. Everything was done with papers, everything was done through, there is a service that you can take dead bodies. For example, when a German person dies outside of Germany, there's a service that takes them back to their home country. On the other hand, the plan B was to propose this monument in front of the Chancellor's office to memorize and to keep these people who drowned in the Mediterranean in our memory. And in order to apply that, we called for a march, for people to march from Unter den Linden, so it's like in the middle of Berlin, to the Chancellor's office, and then demand that this monument should be created. We put a shield, a poster in front of the office that we want to do this. And then we called the people to come, and we told them, do not create any groups. Do not enter this meadow in front of the building. Do not dig any graves, and do not put any crosses on them. Don't take any action you would like. Please, let's go. What happened is, the people didn't listen. And they went inside, started making symbolic graves for the people in front of the Chancellor's office and the parliament. And they left the meadow as you see it in the pictures just 2 days before the Queen visited Berlin. And the government had to redo that in 2 days. So whenever you hear in Germany that we cannot do that, bureaucracy, it's going to take time, bullshit. However, 1 more year passes by. We come down to a new level of actions. This action is called Flüchtlinge fressen, so eating up refugees. What happened is the Pope visited the island of Lesbos in Greece. And then he met some refugee families and took some with him and went back to Italy without visas, without any papers, without nothing. So he's the Pope. That's a good point. The other point is there was a kid in our group who asked his mom, he was following up what we are doing, and he was asking, Mama, why don't the refugees just fly here? Well, to answer this question, we had to make a research, a legal research, to look like why legally they cannot come. So we came to a conclusion that we're gonna do an action that allows us to play the Pope. We want to rent or to book a flight from Turkey to Berlin and bring on it people without documents, without visas. And we booked the flight, and we presented the thing to the German government. On the other hand, the research led to a conclusion that there is a law and a guideline in the German constitution and in the EU guidelines that prevents people who are in an emergency situation from entering the European Union. And nobody knows about it. I don't know if you know about it. You are mostly Europeans. Nobody has heard about it. And it's been in application since '94. So we said we're going to open this and let the government now become the emperor of the old Rome. They're going to sit in their position and look at these people who want to come in, and they have to decide. So shall we let them in, or shall we let them out and die? To do that, we've built an arena. Shall we see? Well, this is the flight. We called it Joachim I. So Joachim is the president of Germany, and he was the one supposed to actually allow it after the parliament would refuse. We brought also a Syrian woman. She's a great woman and an actress who actually gave a speech to the German government and the German people about the whole situation, describing why are we doing this and what is the solution. The solution for her was, if you do not agree, I'm going to do something you're not gonna like. What's happening outside? We've built an arena, we put some sand, and we brought 4 tigers to be there, and we invited people to throw themselves to be eaten by these tigers. And she was the first volunteer. So she said to the parliament, if you're not gonna agree on this, I'm gonna throw myself, along with 7 people who agreed already to do that, to the tigers, and let the whole world see that you actually don't care about lives. You want to do whatever you want, no matter what happens. More than enough. This is the arena. There's a glass window for everybody to look what's inside, where the tigers are. And we had a show every day that talks about animal rights, that talks about German law, that talks about many different subjects that has nothing to do with this action. And on the side, you can see football is running because it was the European Championship. Yeah, so when you come to this show, you're gonna have a full package of everything. Tigers, football, feminism, and animal rights. These are the tigers. Well, we were thinking that these tigers are going to be beasts, and they're gonna be really tough. But they were just big kittens. Nobody was afraid of them. Everybody wanted to have pictures with them. Everybody wanted to be close to them. So we broke this stereotype of tigers are really beasts. They are not. We are the beasts. Yeah, I know. As a result of this whole action, the German parliament voted on this decision. So shall we let this this trip fly or not? They said no. The Ministry of Interior refused to cooperate totally. And the company we booked with, which was Air Berlin, actually just cancelled the contract, which was already signed. And this is a good point for us. On the very same day where they cancelled the contract, the Ministry of Interior just issued a statement. We did not apply any pressure on Air Berlin. Nobody asked about that, but they just gave it to clear themselves. At the end, the same woman who gave the first speech gave another speech, but this time in the name of tigers. And she was saying that we are not beasts, you are the beasts. And actually, you have failed. You have even failed to send 7 people for us to eat. Over 2,000 people attended the ceremony on the last day. So this was almost about 3 or 4 o'clock. And we were supposed to give the people to the tigers at 6. After that, what happened is that the police came and made a ring around the arena and said, nobody comes here. And we were like, yeah, but we want to be eaten. So what's wrong with you? And the people were standing and staring, okay, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna go in or not? Well, what do you think happened? Of course not. Of course not. The German government will not allow such a thing because it's here in Berlin. Well, if it's in the Mediterranean, no problem, let it happen. Yeah. That was it, actually. Thank you very much for your attention.